Morning, this is Chat with the GP. I'm William Bird, and today we're going to be talking about damage done by the skin, and it's really slightly worrying as we go into climate change and we get hotter and more sunshine very often. It's going to cause more problems to our skin. So let's have a look and just see what happens to our skin when we start to get too much sun. Your skin might look okay, but look what happens when you do an ultraviolet photograph. Underneath the skin, because the skin damage of the sun starts deeper in the layers, you can't see it initially, but underneath that damage is already happening. And here an ultraviolet photograph shows how deeper parts of the skin are already getting those freckles, already getting damage to the DNA, which can lead to aging and other horrible things, as we'll see. In fact, skin cancer is the one problem from too much sun. There's some less serious ones, and I say less serious, but they're still pretty nasty things. They cause ulcers and things that have to be removed surgically or with radiation. So these are the non-melanoma lesions, and then the more serious are the malignant melanomas. They're the cancer ones that actually spread into the body and actually can kill you. So let's have a look and just see. Now you may feel that actually these are pretty gross pictures. And I'm sorry about that, but let's have a look, because these are small lesions that you might feel are okay, and they tend to cause a kind of slow growth and ulcerate and then cause problems. So if your mole is changing size, shape or colour, you have a mole that's painful or itchy, it's becoming inflamed, it's bleeding, kind of crusty, so anything that's changing really and getting bigger and just doesn't seem to go away, get it checked out from your doctor. Now, the malignant melanoma has a slightly different thing. It tends to normally cause blackness and darkness. Not always, and particularly under the nail, sometimes you can get a black spot there or even a dark area which doesn't go away. Get those checked out. But anything that changes, and there is a rule called the ABCDE. So let's have a look. When you get a circular mole, that's normally absolutely fine. But when it starts to become irregular, particularly with change, then get it checked out. The border should be smooth and even, but when it becomes uneven, that's when you go and see the doctor. The colour, it's usually one colour if it's a normal mole, but when it starts to change in different parts of that mole, get different colours, then that's something else that we need to worry about. And then you also find that you get these kind of the diameter gets bigger and bigger, and really anything that gets bigger than you thought over the last month or so, and you can't see any reason why that's happened, you go and get it checked out. And it changes. A mole which is normal will stay exactly the same for a long period of time, but when you've got that malignant melanoma starting, it will evolve. So that's your E of the evolving. So the asymmetry, irregular, the border's smooth, it's not in a melanoma, the colour's uniform but it's not, it's normally different colours, the diameter, that starts to get bigger, and it all moves bit by bit. So what is the thing that makes you at risk? And the thing that makes you at risk is sunshine. So the more sun you have, particularly if you were sunburnt as a child, and a lot of us didn't realise all of this, but if you get that sun problems as a child, that's much worse because the skin's thinner, it tends to take the DNA damage more. And as we saw in that first photo, the damage can start deep down in the skin, so it doesn't really evolve until later in life. Tanning beds, please don't go there. Please, please, it's 20 times more the UV light in some of these beds, and really not a great idea at all. If you've got lots of moles, you are unfortunately more likely to have skin cancer. And if your skin is very pale, or if you've got red hair, that will actually make things a bit worse. And obviously if you've got illnesses elsewhere. But please remember, any sunburn puts you at risk, so just don't do it. And we often think wearing a good, big, bright, wide brim, that's good. Yeah, of course it is. That is brilliant. Do that. But it's your legs as well need to be covered. The rest of you needs to be covered. So don't just think you're doing one part, because unfortunately any part of the body can get affected. And then where are the best places to go to get your sun cream. Well, Which did a report just in June 2024, and it showed that these were the ones that really were good. Some of them at Lidl only and Boots only, but other ones you can buy elsewhere. Look at those, try and get it. The good reason about those is that they were very good at protection of what they said they were going to do. You might think that's obvious. It was also able to be put on very easily, and it was good value for money. The ones they said don't go for were these, and they failed. They failed. So they said they're factor 30, they weren't. And they checked it several times. So just be aware that in this Which report, these ones were not recommended. And how much sun cream? Well, get a teaspoon of it and put one on your legs, on the front, one on your or full leg, one on the back to the legs, one on the back, one on your front, one on the arm, one on the other arm, and then one on your head and shoulders. That's 7 actual teaspoons. That's how much you need to put on. Don't just faff around with just small amounts. Put all of those on. And then how often? Well, you get these once a day. Apparently they just don't work. They disappear after a very short period of time. In fact, after the end of the test, just by staying there, 74% of it had decreased in its effectiveness, making it almost useless. And the ones that say they're waterproof, they drop very, very quickly in water. So make sure you put it back on again when you come out of the sea. So it's all very good. We're putting all this sun cream on, but up to about 20,000 tons of this stuff is coming into the environment, and most of it goes into the oceans as well. So it does cause problems. And if you look at the ingredients, the oxybenzone and the octinoxate, I think that's how you say it, are damaging coral. They're banned in Hawaii and other places, but you can still get them in the UK. So avoid any sun creams with these chemicals. The chemical UV filters, they're different from the titanium oxide or the zinc oxide, which act as a barrier. And they tend to be a bit better because they're literally just reflecting the light back again. Whereas the chemical ones absorb the UV light and create heat. So you sometimes feel your body getting really hot. And it's the chemical ones that tend to have these other, the nasty coral ones indeed. So that is the end. Remember, the sun is great for vitamin D. In small amounts we need it. It makes us feel good. It's a lovely place to be, but get too much of it. It starts to go red. It starts to damage your DNA. That is when things are doing damage, and that's where you have to draw the line. And particularly remember, children are more vulnerable. So please look after your child. Thanks very much.